Oh boy, where do I start? Well, firstly, you can say hello to my new background a bit. Not the wall. You guys know what the fuck happened to the wall. I'm talking about this new lighting that you guys can see pretty much behind my brush there. So yeah, new lighting, pretty much a new lamp. Um, Something my mom got from her work. I'm not going to give too much details on that, but yeah, this has been pretty much not a good Saturday. And there are three things I have to discuss. I mean, sure, I wanted to get started about next Monday and stuff, but I gotta spill the beans and tell you three things. I mean, I want this video to be really long and explaining what kind of contact I want to make on here, but it's best if I tell you three more things since I've told you guys a few bit of things back in my other two last videos, but and don't worry, no, I'm not mad or anything. If somebody pointed out to me if I was mad or something, I'm not. I sometimes have bad days, and it really kicks in your how you feel. People can relate to that a lot. Ben relates to it so much. Luke a little bit. David, Derek, my friend Ryan too. So yeah, I get how these guys go through with it, and my friends, of course, go through with it a lot. My gal friends, as I'm gonna call it, they go through with it too much. So yeah, I gotta tell you right now. So let's get this started. Hey guys, let's see here. I know, this is coming out of nowhere, and I gotta just do a little disclaimer about this, but this is something of pretty much not something terrible, but this is a little disclaimer. If you don't like listening to a bunch of negative things that some parents have done to their children, I get that. You guys can skip a little bit of this part, but yeah, just a little disclaimer. So today pretty much started out a bit okay, I would say. Nothing out of the ordinary, and yes, sadly, it has now been 10 months, or probably 8 or 9 months. My dad has been having this leg pain or something like that. I honestly just don't know what's up with his leg. All I know is that it's just in pain. He's been getting some medicine about it, some stuff, a little bit something like that, but I can't say exactly what kind of treatment he's getting. So yeah, so pretty much nothing's working so far. Only like a few bit of pills, and that's it. Nothing. They're not bad pills. They're just helpful pills. They're not like drugs or anything. No, it's not like those kind of pills. No, it's not like that. And so I have to unfortunately help him. And don't judge me right away or criticize me about why I don't like to help him too much. It's not because I don't love him. I do, but we got like I wouldn't say it's a complicated father and daughter relationship. It's a bit casual, just not too, I wouldn't say toxic, because there are sometimes where it's moments where it's very toxic, very terrible, very bad. It gets fucked up recently, it gets terrible, bad, as I'm gonna say it, because it's just been fucking bad during the pandemic. Like, really bad, a little, not too bad. It's not abusive, and I don't, and as you guys know me, I don't physically fight with my parents, like, with my hands, none of that, or tackle them or anything, because I vowed to my coach that, well, also my therapist too, during 2019, I vowed to them both, like, yeah, I would never do any, like, physical harm to them, But if they claim to one of them, to one of each other, like, oh, I punched her or I punched him, you know, I know for the fact I didn't actually do that. Because they're just causing fucking drama, and I hate that, honestly. I hate the way my parents just start too much fighting and stuff. I mostly have to get through with it, sadly, because sometimes some people don't know that, you know, it just pisses you off some days, and you just can't take it anymore, and you just want to be like, I've had enough of this shit, you know? So, yeah. Pretty much, it's just been okay. Our daughter and father relationship, so it's nothing bad, but now with my mom, it's gone downhill, honestly. It's not because of me, it's because of my mom. Since I became 20, since I became a teenager, since I became a kid, well, not a kid, but since I was a teenager or a preteen, and now at this age, yeah, I unfortunately, things just went downhill, sadly, for me and my mom. We honestly haven't gotten along well. We've been fighting a lot. We've been arguing nonstop, and I just can't take it anymore. It's just fucking annoying for me. I just can't take it. And my friends understand it. They completely understand what I went through, as you guys seen in my last video of last year, which you guys can go check that out. I'm okay with that, but mostly it's just been a tough year for me, especially during the pandemic and the year before the pandemic, because it was when I wasn't at my worst, but I was at my best moments of 2019. And yes, it had to do with my relationship status a bit, which I think I discussed about that topic in my last video. If you guys haven't checked that out, you guys can go check that shit out, especially since if you guys are really puzzled about what was going on during this age, after probably months after my birthday or before my birthday. So yeah, you guys can go check that out. But so now things just between my mom hasn't been really going well. It's been pretty much toxic. I mean, my sisters have told me many things that my mom has done to them, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel honestly bad for them that they had to go through that when I was a child during that time of the year, during my kid years pretty much. So I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. And then my sister told me this very harmful, offensive thing my mom said to me pretty much when I was born, but I don't want to get too much into it because honestly, just saying it really gets me pissed off at this point. So yeah, it was, all I'm gonna say, it was just so hurtful, so harmful. Like, she didn't put like her hands around my throat, nothing like that. No, it wasn't physical, it was just verbal. And it felt like it was a bit racist, a bit. Not too racist. It wasn't talking about, oh, if she marries like a dark skin. No, it had nothing to do with that. It was just about what kind of career I wanted to do growing up, what kind of job I want to get, you know. And so I'm like thinking, that doesn't sound like me at all. I don't want to do something like that. I mean, I vowed never to help old people. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like to judge a book by its cover. You guys know me pretty much well. I don't judge a book by its cover. Old people are the greatest. They have a lot of memories about some old things, old times, you know. So I guess I understand, and that's pretty much coming from my grandpa and grandma pretty much, in my mom's side and my dad's side too. So I'm like, yeah, I respect them. I wouldn't try to fight them or anything, no. I mean, hell, even argue with them? Nah, that's just gonna be so annoying. And so I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I respect what my grandma has taught my dad and what my grandparents have taught my mom, and I'm okay with it. I mean, I get some of the rules they had for my parents when they were growing up, but I'm like thinking, I feel like they probably, I think maybe my parents didn't like the rules they had when they were kids, when they were my age. They probably were like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this to my kid or not, or give this kind of discipline or rules, you know. And so I guess they had no choice but to obey completely or something with with the rules they were given as a child. I guess they kept it on through generations to generations, I guess. I don't know, but and they of course gave me a lot of it, and it was really stressful. It wasn't something fun. If you guys think having Hispanic parents might be fun, it can be on the outside, but in the inside is where things get a bit dark. Not terribly bad dark, but it's just a little dark. Like 30% of shade. Not 50 Shades of Grey. I've never seen that movie. I don't even feel like I want to watch it now that I'm older, so yeah. So back to this. Now, looking back at what sadly I saw my sisters go through when they were my age, versus what I'm going through now, that I'm a little more older, yeah, I'm like thinking, I have got to get out of here, you know. So like obviously in the future I'm obviously gonna move out, of course, because this is just a hell house, honestly, because it just feels like there's no freedom for me, you know. So I've never been able to do anything as adults. I wouldn't say get away with, but things that, you know, regular people, you know, adults do, you know. I sadly never got to experience that. I never hanged out with friends at the movies. I never hanged out with them at the mall. I never hanged out with them, not in the car. That would look a little suspicious, but more like in pretty much like, you know, even eating with them at a restaurant. I've never done that, sadly. I mean, obviously, I only did it once, sadly, but this was like 7 or like maybe like, I don't know, like 7 years ago or 8 years ago. I don't know, it's been pretty much a while, long ass years. So yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I miss that, you know, but you know, parents just take it away from you once you're a kid, you know. I mean, yes, I did actually have rules as a kid growing up. I hated them, and to this day, now that I'm older, I still hate them, and I just wish they'd just throw it in the trash, let me do whatever I want. Nothing bad in what kind of, whatever I want to do now. I wouldn't do nothing bad at all if they would just get rid of the rules. I would obviously, yes, respect the number one rule, which, honestly, I agree to them, like, 50-50, you know, but I'd give it a 50-50 about that number one rule, because I respect it, and I don't think it's unfair, pretty much. I don't think it's unfair. I mean, I guess probably once adults, after they're married, probably for years, 3 years, you know, and after they have kids, you know, I guess parents these days, or grown-ups, you know, don't worry so much if they're virgins or not, because obviously, where did their kids come from then? That's a question they could ask and be like, no, nothing to worry about. So yeah. But pretty much today, back now to my day, apparently this morning it was okay. I tried to at least help a little bit my dad, but so far my legs are not hurting the same way as my dad's are. No, they're not hurting that much. Not that extremely much, no. They're just tired because for the past 2 days now, my neck, which is here, has been hurting so much, and I'm so sick and tired of having this pain because now I can't even sleep well. And no, it's not because of my dad snoring. No, I can sleep with my little sound machine on without getting interrupted by his snores, because honestly, growing up, I had to sleep with him. I mean, it's not weird because, you know, you have problems sleeping and you need, you know, some company or someone to check on you, you know, if you're fine and stuff, yeah. And so I had a lot of troubles growing up. I had a lot of trouble sleeping, especially at a young age, because I would not shut up as a kid. And not because verbally, but I wouldn't stop screaming as a kid. Not craziness, no. Just because I used to cry a lot in the night. And it's either because of baby stuff, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty much something that my parents had to deal with me pretty much 20 years ago, I guess. Because, I mean, we're in 2023. Yeah, you know, you gotta get some shit off your back, you know. And that's something I have to get off my back a little bit. So mostly the first thing I wanted to discuss since the beginning of the video is apparently, first thing I had to deal with this morning was more yelling from my mom, because honestly, I hate it when she yells at me at this point. She might think I'm like making it as a joke, but no. When I was in middle school, I did not enjoy getting yelled at. Not even in high school, because I had to deal with a lot of mental health issues and stuff during not middle school but high school, and people would think I'm just making it as like a disease or something, which that's just bullshit, because I'm not the kind of person who would just do that for just attention. No, this was like serious issue problems with me, and so people would just yell at me like if I'm doing something wrong. I mean, I get it. You don't gotta fucking do that twice or 4 times a day, you know? That's just so annoying. So instead, I would be like, okay, am I doing this wrong? Where the fuck are you pointing at? Where, like, give me signs, you know? Not sign languages, not those kind of sign languages. No, not those kinds. I just hate it. People in my other school, when I was a kid, did it to me. I got pissed, and I honestly had to beat that girl's ass up because I could not take it. She was just honestly annoying. But yeah. Anyways, apparently I could obviously avoid it, but at the same time, it's like in front of people, and I guess you have no choice but to obey, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. And so I was helping my mom, since my dad told me to like go help her, you know. As a good friend, as a good person I am, I went to go help her, and then she told me one day to like pack everything in a stack, and I was like, okay. And so I packed it up a little bit in a stack, because everything in my dad's backpack was not gonna fit so much so much stuff in there. And so when I was done, she opened the bag, but she got really mad. She just started yelling at me and stuff, and I'm like, what? You told me to like put everything in stack, and then this right here, this sandwich or something got in the way, and that's not my fault, because I tried putting it and it just kept moving, so that's not. And it just looked like she was gonna slap me, and I was like, nah. I mean, if you slap me, I'm gonna tell my sister, honestly, because that's just what I'm gonna do now. Obviously, since last year, I've been telling them everything they've been doing to me, and yeah, they feel bad for me. But yeah, once I'm out of here, I'm gonna say goodbye to the past. Not the positive past, but the negative past I've had in this house. And with them, I'm gonna get that shit out of here, because I just can't take it, and move on to having a way better future than what they wanted me to do. Apparently, what they think I'm gonna end up doing if I don't become like, you know, a responsible person. So I'm like, I get that. I'm trying to do that, but you guys are just giving me a hard time. So that's not, that shit ain't my problem. It's affecting you guys as parents, and you guys should just be ashamed of yourselves, you know, yelling at me so much, you know, for no reason sometimes, or just for like, even if I make one tiny small problem, arguments, and yelling. It's just, oh my god, it's just such a nightmare. And so she just started yelling at me a lot. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just grab a plastic bag and just, no. I didn't want to do that, because I didn't want to look dumb or anything. So I'm like, no, fuck that. Okay, I'm done. I honestly lost it a bit. Not so much, but a little bit. So I'm like, yeah, I was like, okay, you know what? You take care of everything. I'm done. I'm not gonna help somebody with this attitude, with this motivation to think, oh, it's normal for me to like yell at my own daughter, even if she's doing something okay or something fine, and it has nothing that's gonna damage them, or just think like, oh, she's just the dumbass daughter ever in the world. No, nothing like that. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm sick and tired of you yelling at me, like if it's like I'm the dummy in this family, and I'm not. Because I'm just sick of it at this point. And so I just went back upstairs, started reading my book, taking a little bit of a break, because I was just honestly sick of her yelling at me. And she just told me, okay, put everything else. I was like, are you kidding me? Did she like not understand what I said? Because I had to speak in Spanish, because obviously it's just annoying how I gotta repeat, and you guys know I don't like repeating so much. So yeah. And the second thing I wanted to discuss was during the time when I was helping them. So when it was time to like take care of like my mom's boss's kids, you know, apparently my dad did something worse. So yeah, he pretty much did something bad, and Not something terribly bad, not the kind of bad some people would think immediately. No, not like that. Pretty much he, like, this is something terrible that, not completely, but a little bit, but just a little terrible. So he pretty much kind of, like, hit my head or punched it. I couldn't tell because I was trying to help him a bit fix this vacuum problem or something, but he just kept hitting me, and I just couldn't take it. I was like, okay, if he's not gonna help me, I'm just gonna leave and he'll do it on himself, because I don't, like I said, I don't like to deal with people who give me an attitude and stuff and just give me just their mad mood at me. I'm just sick of it. And so I'm like, okay, there, fixed it. And then he just hits me again and again. And I'm like, I'm about to leave, but you keep hitting me. Like, come on. Or punching me. I don't know what he was doing. I couldn't tell because I was trying to fix the vacuum and I was like on my knees trying to fix it. And I couldn't tell if he was punching me or not. I didn't want to look up because if I looked up, yeah, immediately he wouldn't aim at my head, he'd aim at my face. So I was like, no. So, and then obviously I got just like 2% upset. I wasn't completely upset, but I was mostly mad. I was like, are you kidding me? And he pretty much affected my mood the whole rest of the half of this day today. Not the whole thing. Not in the beginning, not right now in the afternoon, no. And so I told my mom what happened, and obviously he just stormed in after what he did, and I'm like thinking, okay, I'm gonna get out of his way. I'm not gonna try to get it another fight with him again, because I was honestly not really in the mood to fight with anyone or argue. And so I honestly told my mom to shut up, and she was shocked, of course, but she wouldn't expected me to say something like that to her, because obviously she's seen and she knows how mad I get and what I would say, so it's to her it's like a surprise, but I don't see why she's gotta act like it's a surprise, like if it's supposed to be offensive and stuff when it's not, because obviously my dad affected my mood a lot, so yeah. And so I told her what happened, and she's like, and she didn't even care to check on my head, she didn't care at all to rub it, to see if it hurts, or how hard he did it, and so I'm like, no, this is honestly like 3% abusive a bit, because it was physical, it wasn't verbally. I mean, he was talking at the same time doing that, and I'm like, I'm trying to do this, do you want me to fix it or not? I told him like twice, and he just wouldn't talk. He just kept doing it, and I was like, okay, then not gonna help him then, because after what he did, nah, people like that don't deserve help. That's why they just make it worse and worse. Even when the person's trying to help, it just gets worse, Sorry guys, I'm just unpacking a little bit, not completely. And so I'm like telling my mom, I don't like this kind of person my dad can be when he's mad. I hate it. I honestly don't enjoy it. It gets me ticked off so fast. So I'm like thinking, yeah, I'm gonna move out of this hell house and go live in a heavenly good apartment with a roommate. Obviously, has been like 7 of my friends have asked me if they want to be roommates with me. I was like, I'm gonna say maybe. I'm not so sure, because actually I'm not so sure how the rent is going to be. I mean, sure, I want to split it in half, half I could pay, half my roommate could pay. Like, that's how I want to share, that's the kind of sharing I do, but I don't share cash. I don't like sharing it because I've dealt with money problems in high school, so I'm like thinking, yeah, and I don't want to deal with money problems ever again, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna ask like cash, for my friends, because that's when I was gonna kind of cause trouble and stuff. And so I'm like, yeah. And then my mom told me about that and what she had to go through when she was my age, so I'm like, yeah, this is why I don't want to give cash to my friends and stuff. So I'm like, no. And don't worry guys, I'm not upset right now. I'm just a bit tired and distraught about what happened a bit, but yeah. And so that's the second thing that happened, and I pretty much sadly have gone through that type of punishments, or I don't know, like movements of what my dad has done to me as a kid. I mean, he would hit me sometimes, but not like in an abusive way, none of that, because sometimes I would get in a lot of trouble or I wouldn't understand something, and yeah, like immediately it gets him pissed off right away. So now that I'm a little more older, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be a little careful with it, right away pay attention. But if he just doesn't explain and just says one thing, how am I supposed to know? Because you never know what someone needs if they don't just explain exactly what's going on. So it's just really annoying how some people just don't explain very specific and detailish a bit. I don't know how to say it, but some people, I guess, would correct me on that word. But yeah, details, but detailish is a word I've heard before. But yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I don't want these kind of people to not give me specific types or what is that they need, because if it's something so hard I wouldn't understand, yeah, because sometimes they just confuse what they're saying, and I'm like, okay, what are you saying? Because either you're not making sense or you're just not pronouncing something right, which is annoying, and I hate that. And so now, as a kid, I sadly had to indulge with that, and no, he wouldn't do that type of behavior towards my sisters too much, unless maybe if they got in trouble. I don't know, I wasn't in their shoes growing up, so I honestly don't even know what he did to them if they get in trouble. I mean, maybe he got them grounded, I'm not so sure, but yeah. So now, apparently, I sadly thought it would be over, like he wouldn't ever do it to me, but no, in a new year, and we're nearly over with January, so I'm like, wow, this guy's never gonna grow up, and so I'm like, yeah, what's the point? So now I have to deal with my mom doing all the physical fighting and stuff, which honestly, sure, I fight girls, but I don't fight my mom, and it doesn't hurt my heart, I just really don't like doing that. And people say, you need to fight your mom, you need to stand up for yourself. I stand up for myself verbally, but physically, like fighting back, no. And I did that as a teen, which was completely terrible. I understand the mistake I did as a teen, so I would like to verify that so people don't think like, oh, I just did that because I enjoyed it. No, I did not. It honestly hurt me. And even if my mom says it, I was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna even. And she immediately accused me, like, if I did that to her, or if she accuses me, like, if I did it to her and stuff, and I'm like, no, never, because I'd always, even if she's gonna try to push me or stuff, I always put my hands on my back, behind my back, so she won't immediately accuse me and say, oh, I'm the one who pushed her and stuff, when I know, because I can fucking feel it, that I had both my hands behind my back. So I was like, yeah, that's something I do. With my dad, it's a little different. I mean, obviously, I verbally fight, verbally, like with words, but that's it. Sometimes he take it to, I guess, another level that I don't like to discuss, because it doesn't get me upset, it just gets me really pissed, because, yeah, like I said, I don't like dealing with people with that type of anger issue and just immediately take it out on me and stuff. No, I just honestly don't want to give a fuck about it, so yeah. And so, the final third thing I wanted to talk about was pretty much, sadly, since I'm in a new year and my semester and pretty much my last semester last year was okay, not completely good, but a little okay. It's pretty much have been tough for me because there's many ways I've tried studying and I just don't understand what the fuck is up with the school system, but it's just like they think that I'm never gonna be good enough for college, and so I try to prove them wrong, especially going to tutoring, but I mean, it's not like I'm not trying, I really, really am, but just my parents I feel like they want to give up on me right away, but I'm not trying to give up on myself, I'm not trying to do that. But honestly, it's not like I'm not trying, or thinking obviously when think like if I'm good enough or not. I mean, it's honestly a silly little question, and so I'm like thinking, I feel like maybe the school just thinks or judges by somebody's color, you know? I mean, honestly, I feel like that's the case because my friend who goes to my college has been getting good grades, and well, this is a little private. I didn't ask him, just to be clear. He even told me his GPA, how high it was, and I was like, wow. And that kind of putted me down, you know, and I was like thinking, wow, so they're being racist basically just because I'm Hispanic. And so I'm like, I mean, I was thinking about it and it didn't get me completely offensive or offended, you know. It just got me a bit confused on that. And so I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's the issue with that, or if maybe professors have problems with me or something. I don't know, because I try not to argue with my professors, unlike with my teachers I had to do in high school. So that was like my New Year resolution, not argue or physically do anything bad in college at all, or try to argue with my professors. Unless if they try to be racist with me, then I would sadly have to clap back at them, because I don't like to stay silent, you know? I'm not... People may look at me and think like I'm the kind of girl who's quiet, you know? But when I'm in... Every Sundays I'm quiet, and that's it. But in school, it's where I'm more importantly... Sorry if I had trouble saying it, but more importantly, just... Sometimes I'm not, because, you know, I think I'm sometimes annoying. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, you guys can keep it to yourself, honestly, because it could affect me one day, and yeah, I might take it as real, you know. And so, yeah, that is the third thing I wanted to discuss. So this semester, sadly, like I said, was okay. It was not terrible. I wouldn't say it wasn't too stressful, but it was like pretty much 30% stressful for me, because the courses sometimes get tough, but at the same time it's like new material you're learning, you know, and you kind of have like troubles remembering some stuff, you know, or remembering a bit what you've learned previous years or the recent years, and you try to compare it, you know. So that's something I've been dealing with. And yeah, it's pretty much something I've been going through these past 2 semesters. I mean, sure, I may have looked like I was enjoying it in one of my recent videos, but I kind of wasn't completely... I was just a bit okay with it, but I was mostly trying to take the courses more serious than I was in high school, because during my senior year, I was really too focused, and I honestly was just giving bad attitudes towards my friends. And looking back at that, I'm like, what the hell was going on with that? I mean, there was nothing wrong with, you know, focusing in classes and stuff and getting your shit done, you know, and your work done, none of that. It was mostly random attitudes towards my friends. I find it not so hilarious, but not completely, but like a little bit hilarious. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what was going on and stuff. And so I'm like, I mean, my doctor did say something about like side effects, and so my dad asked me, and he was like, doesn't it have to do with like the pills? And I read the labels and the descriptions and stuff, and it turned out they did had a lot of side effects, because for the past few months I wasn't even feeling if my stomach was hungry or not. I didn't feel like I wanted to use the restroom, which that's honestly disgusting. And what was the worst side effect of all is anger. More anger than calmness, honestly, which is... At first when I took it, I was completely calm, but then once I got focused more into work, you know, and school... I don't have a job. I've applied, but I still have not gotten feedback, so I guess I'm not gonna get the job, I guess, but yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, it's kind of strange, you know. Even my teachers thought it was really strange. Even my parents thought of it too, when they are the ones who fucking are taking me to the doctors to go check how I'm doing, you know. And I'm sorry for my shadows, guys. It's my glasses. I'm not the kind of girl who just like mess with my eyes, you know. It's my shadow. So if you're wondering or notice that throughout the whole video, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna clarify that. And so yeah. And so that's pretty much what I had sadly endured a little more since, I'm growing more, learning more things new. Like, as I said in the beginning, I want to learn things new and try doing some things for my career as I can, because there's many things I honestly want to get started on doing, but at the same time, I feel like no one's gonna let me complete my career, And so I'm like thinking, is it because I'm Hispanic, or what the hell is it? I mean, I'm not too scared to even know what it is, so I'm honestly just concerned about why I've not been getting, good grades, I've been getting okay grades. It's not completely bad. It's just been a bit in the middle, half okay, half bad, It's been okay, so I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, so I'm like, yeah, as long as I just focus more and go more tutoring, I'll be alright. But the main thing that is also in number 3, the reason of it, was I went to tutoring yesterday. I'm going every day, so don't think like I'm just going one day per week. No, I'm going every day. And so apparently there's this tutor guy who honestly just makes me so uncomfortable, and it's about my course I'm taking, and pretty much, oh my god, it just, honestly, there's just something off about this guy. I'm not trying to be racist, but honestly, he honestly just gives me, like, an uncomfortable feeling, It's like if you're gonna work with somebody, or like if this is the worst thing people probably wouldn't enjoy, or if you, like, work with, like, a child predator, that's kind of, like, scary, and you could risk, like, messing with your life or something. So I wouldn't say ruining it, because I don't want to be too mean about it, but yeah, it could, like, have some type of effect on you, or how you could look at the different angle for a person, so I'm like thinking, this is why, I mean, I honestly want to tell my mom about this guy, because honestly, he just gets me so uncomfortable, and he stares at me so weirdly, and honestly, I mean, I don't mind people staring at me, but if they start stalking me, that's when I start to pay attention more to that. But yeah, no activity like that has happened with me, and I'm honestly glad. But sadly, in high school, yeah, I've told you guys the story, and it's been such a bad story about my experience a bit during my year in senior year. And so yeah, it's just my tutor who I just don't feel comfortable, or I wouldn't say confident, but I just don't feel so comfortable with coming for a little bit of help for my homework and stuff, even though all of it's online, so I see why there's a point of going, I mean, it's terrible, none of that, it's just a bit, you get mixed reviews, mixed feelings of who you'd end up getting as a tutor, and you never know if that person's okay, doesn't act strangely or anything, but yeah. But pretty much this guy just honestly just doesn't really make me comfortable. Even if I'm trying to take this course seriously, it just honestly just really makes me so uncomfortable being in a room with him, either by myself or with some other students around me in the same room as me. But honestly, that's just one final third thing I wanted to get off my chest a little bit, but mostly discuss about that. And so yeah, fast forwarding to today, it's just been tiring, boring, a bit annoying, irritating, and just painful. And apparently my head has been hurting now for at least a few hours since that incident happened, and nobody even cared about, like, checking on my head, honestly. And it's just sad seeing how much my parents they say they care about me, but then when one of them tried to physically hit me or something, they just looked like they wouldn't care, or would think, oh yeah, she deserves that punishment because she's addicted and stuff to shit, They don't know what I'm going through, nor my sisters, because I don't feel comfortable telling them what I'm going through, because I feel like they're just gonna think I'm selfish or something, or crazy. So I'm like, no, I just honestly don't want to tell my family about it, because I just think they're gonna laugh at me like it's some kind of joke, when it's actually serious and it's not something funny. Even if maybe somebody has gone through that, probably, like I'm going through it now. So yeah, I just honestly just don't think it's pretty much gonna go well if I tell them. So yeah, but at the end of the day, I try to sometimes forget about the worst days, It's honestly a best way to do if you have like the worst days, which is what I've been doing a little bit, but mostly it affects me too hard, and sometimes I wouldn't forget about it, and so yeah. And so yeah, I ate my dad's sandwich because after what he did, I honestly think he got what he deserved. Not, I don't like to be rude, but it just was painful. My head was hurting a lot, and I couldn't even, it's like he messed up my brain or something. Like, I'm not thinking bad things or stuff, no, I'm okay, but he legit hit me around here, and that's where I am basically being a bit careful about with my smart intelligence on that side. I don't know which part of my brain I'm smart, because I'm not a doctor or anything, or a psychiatrist. No, I'm nothing like that. So yeah, so I have to get some ice, not like ice cubes, no, like an ice cube pad to put all over my head because it's just still in pain a bit after what happened. I don't want to put ice on my back, and no, my dad had nothing to do with my back. It's just been hurting by itself for about 2 days now, and he's putting me the cream that helps my back, which actually there was a day I was able to sleep well because of the pain, without the pain, but the first day I couldn't sleep and I had many trouble sleeping. So I'm like, yeah, I need something to get rid of this pain, even if I'm not sleeping with many pillows, because lots of people like to sleep with pillows. I honestly don't know how people sleep with pillows, but yeah, that's their choice, not mine, so yeah. But now, apparently, I'd like to give a bit of updates, and kind of discuss a bit also besides what happened today, and something else, that I've mentioned in the beginning. Apparently, I'm trying to get more ideas, I'm getting a lot of texts from you guys saying like, oh, you should do like a collab video, well, I did 1 or 5 or 50, not 50, but 20 or 10 recently throughout the years. I've done one this year with my good friend Ben. You guys can go check his channel out. It's really good. It's so funny. I wouldn't say I watch all his videos every day. There's some videos I watch, not the whole thing, not none of that, But yeah, and so I like to give a good shout out to my friend Luke, of course, because he just thinks, honestly, he and I have been talking on and off, honestly, sometimes. I mean, there's nothing bad. We don't have any bad blood. It's because of our conflicting schedules. And I don't like to discuss too much about my friends on here. I don't like to, you guys could notice I've talked a lot about Ben throughout some of my videos pretty much since the day I guess I met him, probably, I don't know. But sometimes, you gotta introduce some people, And so, recently last week, my friend David and I, yes, that's his name, apparently we got into like a little disagreement, about what's more important than studying, what kind of topic, and I feel like it was a little childish discussing something like that, because I don't think adults would disagree on something like that, but it just got a little bad, and then we haven't talked now for a week now, and and this was last semester, by the way, so this was not, I guess this was not recently now, but this was like probably last year of a week ago, and so I pretty much have not talked to him in a while. And no, I was not trying to ghost him. I was just a bit steamed off after what we talked about, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna let him cool down, because I like to keep my friends in their own personal bubble if they want to calm things down, because I don't like to get too much into, like, sometimes their problems and stuff, unless they tell me physically or privately, I'm okay with that. So yeah, so I've gotten to like a huge argument with David. Our friendship between me and him is okay. There's something bad. I really wish one day he could collab one day with my friend Ben, of course, but honestly, I just feel like he's not on YouTube so much. So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna even happen. I'm not gonna predict if it's ever gonna happen or not. I'm not a predictor. And so that's been going on. And recently, some of my friends have been complaining for the past 2 weeks, asking me what I'm doing, And I've already made a video, so why are you guys asking me? I want to know that. I made a video about what I'm doing on the 14th, so you guys can go check that out, of course. But honestly, going back now every day to campus and remembering what I had to go through during my freshman year, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna leave that shit behind. Just move on to what honestly I gotta know, you know, because honestly it's just irritating how you can't focus on like a subject if you can't, you know, get to the next steps in life, you know. Well, anyways, guys, I am going to end here today because I'm pretty much tired now. I've been walking a lot, and yes, that's another that also goes with the second issue, is that I walk a lot to help my dad a lot, and it sometimes hurts my knees mostly because I'd have to bend down sometimes, and it is painful, but at the end of the day, as long as I get some good sleep and rest a little bit, I guess I'll be fine. But yeah, pretty much it's been a cold weather now. I'm honestly hating a bit the weather because it's been rainy a little bit. It said it was gonna rain yesterday, never did. What the fuck is up with the weather now? You know, you just hate how you think it's gonna rain, you know, and it just doesn't rain, and that just honestly pisses you off, you know. And so that's something that I'm noticing from my friends. And yeah, pretty much now I'm not so sure for what kind of other content I could do on here. I mean, you guys have seen, if you guys have noticed, I have posted 4 intros because honestly I feel like I'm gonna get into my summer vacations and I might not have time because obviously I'm gonna be helping my mom, and this is why I decided to release them earlier during this year. If you guys were a little confused about why I have been releasing them, I mean, my friend Derek, of course, has noticed that. He's like, yeah, you've been making a bit of like trailers, I guess, I don't know, and some people would just didn't have to wait a long time, you know, so I'm like, yeah, I'm guessing I'm gonna have to release now these days intros more earlier because I'm never gonna know if I'm gonna be completely busy for the next weeks, if I could ever have time to edit or start a new video, you know. But yeah, and you guys don't need to worry too much about me. I get it. If you guys still want to keep up with me, I'm not so much active on Twitter now, so because of my safety of myself and what my sisters could be doing. But you guys obviously check out my Snapchat and stuff. Obviously I'm more active on Instagram if you guys don't know. But yeah, apparently I got a new way to start a video. Maybe, I'm not so sure about next week. I mean, I am planning on filming next Tuesday because of course it's gonna be Valentine's Day. I mean, obviously you guys didn't know I was of course gonna post on Valentine's Day, so honestly I'll film pretty much what I did, not during the whole beginning of the day, but at the end of the day, so you guys would get to see a little glimpse of what I've done during that whole one-ish hour, you know. Yeah, but yeah, I guess I am going out. I'm in such pain.